The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Hi, folks. Basil Chapman, not Steve Rhodes. Steve is out. I just heard, and because I'm working on the aspect that I want to focus on for my webinar, all-day webinar. It's a 5-hour webinar coming up a week from today. And these are things I'm looking at all the time, and these are things I want to discuss in case I forget anything. It's great that I can go over it right now. A couple of things that I am going to discuss, and of course I cannot do Steve's hour. I can take his time, but I cannot do his hour because only Steve can do that. He does a fabulous job. And he uses some Chapman wave methodology as well, which is quite interesting. So let me just show you something here. This is the E-mini 1-minute chart. Goes E, B, C1, C2, and then a D. And this tiny little, remember the Chapman wave objective, you always want to get to at least a D and then other things can happen. Well, it got to a D right there. But in this tiniest, I probably wouldn't have even put an up arrow, which is what I usually do when I'm getting a buy mode, meaning it's going to go to a D. A, and that becomes an A right there. That becomes a B. And I'll just show you this real quickly. This is not what I'm going to spend my time on this particular thing right now. But I want you to point out a couple of things. You see this technique that I developed decades ago. It's called the Chapman wave instant restart. I found this actually after hand charting with the pencil and ruler, and then I went to, of course, the computer back in 1985 or 6 when we got Apple computers. I could do it, and then I moved over because it was more Windows-oriented for the trade station that I had. So I found that if within 3 bars after the 4th highest peak, alphabetized peak A, then the next one's peak B, the next one's peak C. This has got nothing to do with A to B equals C to D that all the hosts at TFNN talk about. Very cogently. I use that particular technique in a one-to-one Chapman wave expansion. There's a particular way. It has to have the same angle, all sorts of things. But this is different. After D, if within 3 bars it makes a higher high, you can use an alternate count. And one of the things I found over the I'd say it's now about a year, maybe 8 or 9 months, is that there have been so many monthly charts, let alone daily charts, that have made their peak Ds, gone to an instant restart, gone to a high that looked like a peak F top or even a peak G top. But if I didn't count it with an alternate count and count it as a G/C, I would have missed completely the fact that it did go to the D, finally got to the D in a very lopsided sideways movement. That's exactly what the 1-minute chart has done. Now what we're looking at is within the context of the peak D that was made with that candle at about 10:33 at the high of 3977.25, you've pulled back, held the 50-period moving average. I like to just have these. I don't always use them. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't. It held it, and then it had a very small peak A, peak B, peak C, peak D. And then it failed because it's showing it hasn't got the strength. The MACD was failing. The stochastic didn't even get above 80%. Then it turned down, and now it's taken out in leg E, leg E, on the way we use lowercase notation. It's gone below the 200-period moving average. We're watching this 10-minute chart because I said there's a chance. We don't know. You never know that this 10-minute chart could be indicating that somehow or other it holds strongly enough that this is a peak B and that it will go to a C and even a modest D as long as the technicals are holding. At this particular point, they are holding, but that's quite a severe pullback from the 39.77 level to the 39.59, I think it was right now level. We're at 39.61. So far, it's all intact, but I'm talking about the chances are every once in a while, there's a good chance that you can get a 2-click day. Today, we almost had a 4-click day because there was a click when we made that high that was made right here in the 10-minute chart at that leg F. F is where you've got to be really careful. Where was it? Oh, it was this morning. It was a peak D at the 200 period exponential moving average. And that just said to me, whoa, be a little careful. And in the 1 minute chart, let me go back here. That's where it was a peak E. And that said, if you got short and that little turn down from that peak E where it started to fail, and you put a stop about 4 points above and then made that stop a break even, that would have got you into a trade, a 2-click trade that you could get out of when we made the low around about 9:30 or so, even the next one at about 9:45. But then there was a trade that said you could get back long, or at least could be the first trade of the day, a 2-click trade that says if you got long, there's a chance with what's going on in the market, because there's high volatility today, but you could maybe stay in much, much longer than you'd anticipate based on this 2-click method that says if, in fact, one of the longer time frames is acting very well and holds technically above certain levels all the way through, you could keep holding that. And sometimes you can hold it into the afternoon, sometimes almost into the close. 2 clicks, 1 click, and you just sit there and you wait. If you've got a couple of positions, you can take something off. At this point, you say, hey, that was great. I'm not messing around. But the technicals haven't deteriorated yet for you to do that. So I'm just mentioning that. Now, a couple of things. I had questions as I was going to the break, and then I didn't have time, so I'll do them now. So I asked if anyone wanted to send me questions. I'm going to keep updating my email. Let me just do this right here. There, I've updated. So questions, I said if you've got questions, send them to me. I'll do Steve's hour, because I want to be looking at charts, as many charts as possible, because I'm looking for potential trades for next week. What am I following? Of course, the day before, anything can happen, but I am looking at trades, and we will be trading the E-mini live, as well as other things, but I am doing the E-mini. I'm focusing on that. So, yeah, okay, question came in. Baba, doesn't say what position. All right, so let's go to Baba. That's Alibaba. All right, here GT wants to know about Alibaba, BABA. Yeah, so I haven't updated this, but it's gone D, chance of an instant restart, but I'm just going to show it as a chance of an instant restart, E, and an F under the 14-period moving, under the 200-period moving average of 97.40 is trading at 93.08. Now, what I always do, if there's an instant restart, I actually notate it. I put a plus sign above the D, plus sign below, and then I put a circle to highlight it. It doesn't mean to say it has to go there. It says be aware that if all the technicals are holding well, which they are right now, you can go there. Now, I'd spoken last week. I said, my charts are saying that China is actually not what the newspapers are headlining, but they are actually loosening up because the charts are doing so well. So look, here's Baba. It goes from a low below 60 on the 24th with a really high volume session, gap down session. Oh, I'm going to do this because I think this is one of those gap downs that says it could be a Chapman wave. Oh, a high volume reversal candle. I'll be back in a moment. Dow's up 214. Basil Chapman sitting here for one and only Steve Rhodes.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hi folks, we're back. Basil Chapman sitting for Steve Rhodes Hour. What we're looking at is Alibaba, Chinese Amazon. I did not see this, and I was asked about it a number of times. I looked at it, and I was said, yes, I think that there's something happening here, although I personally wouldn't go for Chinese stocks, and we've got enough trouble here. Why go overseas? But in fact, China's been doing very nicely, and I said there's evidence right now from the charts, I'm going to go to this right now, that China's loosening up, even though you can't read about it. Well, it turns out that this is it. GT just sent me a New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Oh, it's the Wall Street Journal. Oh, yeah, I did. I saw it. I actually get the Wall Street Journal. Beijing abruptly relaxes COVID-19 measures. That was on Thursday. Oh, that's today. I didn't read it. Didn't have a chance. So there you are. Look, Alibaba's moving up. So this has got a technique that I developed a long time ago. I'm trying to name the stock that I actually first made a big deal about it a few years ago. It was a tech stock? I said, if I'm correct, this has got a Chapman Wave high volume price climax reversal. And my rule of thumb in this particular technique is that if this is correct, it should move away from the low bar, in this case, the low bar of 58.01 on the 24th of October. Let me write that in. 58.01. 58.01 on 10. I think I said 28. Did I say 28? It can't be 28. Yeah, of October. Yeah, 28.22. Okay. On that day, we had a huge volume on a gap down. There are certain criteria that have to be met. So it did everything that I was looking at, but I forgot to, I didn't even look at it in terms of the volume at that particular time. I should have, because what it would have said is, in this particular methodology, it says that if it quickly moves away from the low of, in this case, 58.01, there's a really good chance that for 28 sessions, it will not come back to that price. And if it's moved even higher in that particular time, then halfway from the previous decline, and that would be from the 106-ish area down to 58, there's a chance it can go for 52 sessions, bars that is, not coming back to that level. And so it's usually a very positive thing. Gosh, I wish I could remember what the stock was that we made a big deal about it, and we never got it in the my opening call where I discussed it, and then forgot to actually put the buy in, and it was a fabulous move. We didn't get it though. So this is the Alibaba. It's in leg E. I have a target for the last week of December to try to get, or before then, to get to the high of 104.85. Wow, that's 12 points. I don't know. I think that's a little carried away, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. It has the, I should put that down there. There. It has Chapman Wave inside wedge resistance, target resistance, and that says 98 is the first, the really big resistance level. But FXI was a question. There it is, FXI. It's the same thing. The volume didn't come in there. It came in a little bit before, so this one is working out well. It's going towards the 200-period moving average. This is the iShares China Large Cap ETF, and there it is at peak E. It's just gone to a leg F. Could even be an instant restart right now. So it's got an F at the high today is 29.21, and 29.80 is the 200-period exponential moving average. It couldn't even break above it. Went to peak F/C back in June, around about the 27th. It failed to get to the 200-period moving average. That's how powerful this 200-period moving average is. Now it's becoming a magnet. In fact, if it moves 29.28, if it can get to 29.38, that magnet says it's going to touch it. It's going to touch it. All right. Question. Someone said, Queb. Yeah. KWEB. I did this as well the other day. Another Chinese stock. This is Chinese. I believe it's the Internet ETF. Yeah. China Internet. That's gone even higher. It's gone to an F and now a G/, what's this PG? Right there. So that went to a D. It pulled back, but now it started a brand new, it looks like it could be a brand new move. This is E, F, and here again is a G/C with a doji candle, but above the 200-period moving average, acting really well. Oh. Let's just do this. Remember, what do you do with the Chapman Wave bar symmetry? You try to get to the trough that looks like, or the peak that looks like it could give you an equal number of bars from the left to the right. This is the gap down. Oh, this has also got the same thing. I'm going to circle it. I'm not going to type it in, but it's also got the Chapman Wave technique that I call, there it is. That's the higher volume price reversal. There it is. And this is also 28 bars. Well, let's see what it's doing here. And I'm going to the, look, nothing can be made up here. This is mathematical. No emotion, no nothing. Let's see where this takes us to. Right there. In a longer time frame, I probably wouldn't have gone that long. I would have said, oh, that's too much. I would have chosen another candle. I probably would have gone from this candle right here. Whoops. Maybe this candle, that candle. But it doesn't matter. It says before December the 19th, the high that was made on this 26th of August at 32.05 should be reached, and today's high is 31.62. Isn't that nice? Oh, and I forgot to put in the Chapman Wave inside wedge target resistance line. Goes from there to there. We've gone above it. All right, very nice. So there's the target. And now look at the 200-period moving average of 29.83 is now key support down to 27.95, the 14-period moving average. This is nice. See, if China starts to improve and the market recognizes that China is improving, in a sense, what it says is it should help our economy. After all, they're not going to produce goods unless they're going to be sold. Who's going to be buying them? Well, we'll see. In the meantime, back at the range, that's very nice. Thank you for pointing that out. A question came in. Where did I go? Could I look at, I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, Uri. Yes. Uri is, we followed this for years in the opening call, my daily newsletter, but only periodically. And the reason is, construction equipment. It's just telling us about things within the economy that could be working very well. If that's the case, then what we're looking at is, within the context of the peak F that was made in the daily chart and the rectangle that I've drawn in, it's maybe doing here we go, the H pattern, the lowercase h, they can go to a lowercase m, unless it breaks out significantly over the left side high. Well, it hasn't done that yet. So it's stuck in a range, but at a higher range, and that's really good, and it's a peak D. Let me just show you this in the weekly chart. Look at this, in the weekly chart, and this has a target. Well, it's a little far-fetched, but I think that this, we'll see where it goes to. But in February, the week of February the 3rd, that's a big ask. It could try for the high that was made back in November, the week of the 5th, of 396.97. It's trading way down to 257. I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'll be back in a moment.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
A penny at 22.69. It did have a pretty good move, but you can see in this Chapman wave automated support and resistance levels. It went just underneath the 2020 level, and then it rallied, and now 23.66 is resistance. In the weekly chart, it's 17.59 is going to be a key support level. But a question came in about Alta. What would you consider for the downside? Well, it just hit a resistance level in the daily of 481. That's what's notated here. It's trading at the high today is 482.69. So it went just above that. It's pulling back a little bit. It went over the 462 level in the weekly, went over the 120-minute chart of 477. And there's nothing in the monthly chart once it breaks 452, 453. In fact, there's more in the daily chart than there is in the monthly chart. So I don't think I would want. So timing is always really important. I like that. So for subscribers, we timed the low, getting into the Dow at the very low. We've done that umpteen times over the years. We still have, in fact, a part of position from the low of 2020 in March in the diamonds. We have the low that was made, the most recent low is still got. So this is really important. And within that context, it gives you a cushion. That's all that happens when you're able to identify a top or a bottom. But you do sacrifice because you can go into 2-3 times to get it right. So I'm just saying that for Alta, which is in the stock is making a new all-time high in this particular time frame, that's in the sweet spot of the holiday season, which is in the area that has the least amount of sellers, because people want to buy their product as long as they can afford it. And so far, there aren't signs that they're giving up on that. I'd be hesitant unless you're thinking of it as just a quick trade and you can do something with options and you can get out in time. All I'm saying to you is that, let me just go back to the chart right here. Ulta Beauty, I don't do that very much anymore, trying to short the exact highs. Unless we did that with the SPXS in August very nicely, but just recently actually. So I'm just thinking that I don't see the benefit because there are so many buyers that will come in for those sudden quick pops that'll take you out, that this is not really it. Now, another question came in. Do I think that Exxon, what about Exxon? You've been talking about it as topping here in the shorter term, but the weekly chart is still holding support and the monthly chart still looks pretty good, although there's a doji candle right there. So here's the daily. Here's the Chapman Wave inside wedge target support line, pink dashed line right there. There's my left side, right side price time match. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I have a target of the 99 area. It actually put the X in on the 15th. That's a week from today. That's a big ask for it to go from 106 down to 99. Something desperate has to happen in the oil. But that's what I've got. That's the pattern that we're looking at. It's done these dreaded H pattern. There's the lowercase h that goes to a lowercase m. Wait a minute. Aren't we about to see that in in the stock that we were talking about a moment ago, which was, don't tell me you wrote it down then forgot about it. URI, or URI. Look, lowercase h goes to a lowercase m, trying to get above that arch high. If it does that, it means it can go back to the top. This is a slightly different pattern. But here, I wanted to show this because it's telling you about the economy, that there are certain parts of the economy, like Caterpillar, etc. This fits in. This is United Rentals Inc., construction equipment. That's maybe why the stock we were looking at a moment ago, which I thought was one thing in the IT area, turned out to be in refrigerants. Of course, I forgot to write the name down. How am I going to find that? I'll find it in a little while. Oh, that's it. It's called HGSN, Hudson Technologies. I wanted to show what's happening. And then I also wanted to show you something here because in the Chapman Wave methodology, there are changes that I need to make every once in a while to the actual notation. So look, if you count this strictly, doesn't it look like that's a peak A right there, that's a peak B, and that's a peak C? But everything about it says that it looks like it made a peak D. What happens in that case, I do so many thousands of these a year, tens of thousands, then I go back and I say, I'm missing something. So I went back and I said, oh, there it is. So I looked at it and there it is, lo and behold. In July of 2020, it goes to 165.87, and then September it goes to 185.85. So 2 cents lower. I would have missed that. That's your obligation in the Chapman Wave, is to always do the notations correctly. So there it is. There's your A, which I would have missed. There's your B. could also then miss that, but that one's a little more obvious to me. C, and there's your D. And it's gone, and it's making a cup formation. So we'll see what happens in this particular instance. A good sign. Remember CTS, Syntas, what I always look at, tell me about the economy. All-time high a few days ago, and here it is at 455 after the two-bar reversal. I'm watching it closely in the daily, but a peak C in the weekly, that still says it should go higher. And in the monthly chart, it has gone to a peak C, or leg C, I should call it leg C. We have to wait the whole month to see if it is going to be a peak. And that's a good sign. So there are many positives within the economy. So I just needed to show you that. Question came in about, where did it go? Jim wants to know about Alcoa. Alcoa trading down up 94 cents at 47.53. Oh, I haven't notated this for a little while. So this made a peak D, pulls back. The MACD held the, so I'm calling this the new leg A up, right there, A, and then a B, and then underneath it goes, remember this is a starting point right here, so every single peak and trough you want to notate to make sure you don't miss anything. So if this is the line, I don't like to put a circle when it's not needed. I should put the circle on the up arrow. If this is an up arrow, then that's saying every peak needs to be counted. Well, that's peak A. This is underneath it, so it's like a gray A, and then it goes to a B. This becomes another A. That becomes an A, B, C, D, and there you get your D. So it says Alcoa got repelled at the 200-period moving average. It got there a few times over the last few weeks, and it hasn't been able to hold above it. There's your peak C. There's your peak D. I always put a plus sign to start it off. I haven't got any signals to say sell signal or sell mode, but this is saying I've begun to hug the 49.81 area of the 200-period moving average, but I keep getting repelled. I've only been able to go above it 4 times in 4 sessions, and 3 times, only 2 times out of the 4 sessions could I hold above it. That's just saying there's a struggle going on. I would hold off on Alcoa. You think it would fit into the whole area of the aluminum being used and fit into the whole construction area, but maybe not, because the SLX, which is the steel sector, the SLX is acting much better. Look, way above the 200 period, making a peak E and holding it in the 63 area. This is a much, much better chart. That's the steel market, Van Eck Vector Steel ETF. I'll be back in a moment. Basil Chapman sitting in for Steve Rhodes' Hour.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
So let me just show you this because I notated it. Some of those people in the den would have seen me notating it live. In the futures, because they're trading quarter points, 25-cent increments, some of them, and the E-mini does, I tend, when I get two consecutive double tops in the bar, I tend, it wasn't. In fact, it was shorter. But I tend, let me just double check this because I missed them. Yeah, when I get two consecutive highs, I tend to put in a phantom Chapman wave peak, and it gets me to the top quicker in the notation. But I'm ready because I can say, hey, I've done everything. Look at the chap. This is the 1 minute chart. Chapman wave inside wedge, which has specific parameters that we need to stick with. And it says right here, I've got an let me just do this while I'm talking there. It has a phantom peak. But so often with phantom peaks, it actually does go to that D, but at least it tells you, just be a little bit wary. Look at your moving averages and see if you must stay in the trade. Well, at this particular point, you're staying in the trade. You've gone to a D. Maybe if you've got 2 or 3 or whatever, you've taken something off as part of money management. But if it goes higher than this high right here, this doji candle of 39.6625, that starts the real D. And then all I do is I change the color and I move the D over and the C comes in. And you can see it got repelled at the resistance, that level that I put in. And the target would be in the next bar or two to try to get to a high of 39.6825. All right, let's get back to this story that I was looking at here in terms of, so the SLX, which is this is the Van Eck Vector Steel ETF, has done very nicely. X, which is steel, U.S. steel. Look at that, leg D gone to a leg E, maybe a peak E today. Just a steady move way above the 200 period moving. Actually, on a weekly basis, we've got to wait till Friday. But this will be the second week that it closes above the arch formation, which says great because you've raised the base of support if you can do that. So let's wait for tomorrow at 4 o'clock for the close. And then what we're looking at is, does U.S. Steel use this strength to go higher? And how high would it? Well, so far it's looking like it could be a head and shoulders pattern, right? But it hasn't gotten to the 29 to 30 level to say, whoops. But in the meantime, it's acting really well. But this is my point. I can't be overall really bearish about this economy when I see things like this, when I see that the FXI, China is starting to open up. Yeah, a question came in. I haven't a chance to actually look to see what the question is. What about Tesla? Well, my thing about Tesla's got nothing to do with Tesla. It has to do with Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has lost his focus, not purposefully, but he's done it. Well, maybe purposefully. He didn't mean to do it. But my contention is that it's already gone to our target on the left side, which was this candle right here. The monthly candle of in 2021, March of 2021 was 179. So I had said my target will be 183 to the 175 area. It's already trading at 170. The next target after that means that it goes into this very big green candle. But I'm not going to do it on the fly. I'm just saying it is really the focus that someone who's the head of a company, the CEO, the creator of a company, just like Benioff, when the focus gets lost, CRM, this is Benioff, focus gets lost, the stock reflects the price. That's the result. And it's gone from 311 to today's low of 127. That is not good. I think it's getting really close to at least an attempt at a bounce, but it's the same thing. Tesla, he lost his focus. What is it? X, what is it called? The SpaceX. And Tesla, isn't that enough? Isn't Tesla enough? And now he's added Twitter. It's just too much for the focus to be lost at this critical time with so much competition from almost every company coming out. Now, the other thing I want to mention is, I should mention it in my show, is that Cadillac, over all the decades and decades that I've watched Cadillac's always the last to join in the parade. And what does it do? It always adds the lights and the glitter and the pink or whatever color it is. And that's exactly what they've done with this, the new car, the new EV that they've come out with. Lights, just everywhere you look, lights, lights, lights. So, but that doesn't mean to say GM can't be successful. I'm just saying Cadillac is the one, the icon of General Motors glitz right there. Okay, so General Motors made a peak D. It's pulling back. It made another peak D under that peak D. So it's kind of struggling, but it's not breaking down. But it's at 38.11, away from the 200-period moving average of 39.99. And I suspect that GM needs to hold 37 to 36 support. Otherwise, it's going to go a lot lower. It's just having trouble going to the upside. So here's your second peak D. That one was the first. It should have had a down arrow. I just haven't looked at it for a couple of days. And there it is. Okay. So with that being said, AXSM. Let's see who said that. Yeah, Dan AXSM. I think I was mentioning this the other day. Friend's son is about to move over from his company that is at this point to this one. And it's holding very nicely. Somebody said something about a takeover at some point, or at least someone's made an offer. Still hold common. I believe AXM will be acquired. Oh, you just believe AXSM will be acquired. Well, that's what it looks like. It had that gap and is holding. AXSM is Axiom Xe. I can never read this one. And I thought I typed it in. I didn't. I should have while I had the chance. Let's just see what it says. It's just very tiny. It's not that I can't see it. Axiom, that's it. Axiom Therapeutics. Yeah, very nice. Leg D in the monthly chart did that dreaded H, did it successfully. Looks good. The resistance will be this candle right here, the December 2 years ago at 87.24, and it's trading right now at 77. So it got very close. It went to 80, I think, the other day. What was it? 80.87. So it's very close. And there's a leg C in the weekly chart. Okay. A question came in here. Exxon. Did I do Exxon? Yes, I spoke about Exxon. It held that support. I think it's going to have a bounce off that support level. But my guess is that it's going to make lower lows and lower highs. How does Exxon Mobil act when it gets into time and price consolidation? That's the question. So, and XLE was a question. Oh, UNG. I'll get to UNG right now. So XLE, I think, also is in the same category. I have not been able to make a case for this to be a peak, anything other than a peak C. It should be an alternate count, but I really can't do that in the weekly chart of the XLE. But here again, lower lows and lower highs. I think it needs to test the 83 to 82 level. We've got one break to come, and then we wrap it up. UNG, oh, what a nice candle. Sorry, subscribers. I had this. I was going to get to it, but I've decided to go for another stock today. I'll be back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Basil Chapman here. UNG was a question. United States Natural Gas. I'm sitting in for Steve's hour. Natural gas, that's a really nice turnaround. Good candle yesterday, almost a Chapman Wave green Roman candle. In fact, it is. And it's gapped up. If it can close above yesterday's high for 2 sessions out of 3, that is really good action. So this could be the start to fill some of the gaps that we've just seen. It'll have strong resistance in the 1952 area. UNG is the United States Natural Gas Fund, trading at 18.42. And let me just say for real quickly, I have a webinar coming up a week from Thursday. And let me just get to this. It's going to be a trading webinar. We're going to put positions on. I'm using the E-mini as the core, but we will go to other things. I don't even want to say what I'm going to do because it depends on going in, what looks good. We could do UNG, could do the SOXL, the 3 times long, the semiconductor, it could be anything. But I will be also doing the E-mini. So what are the objectives of that webinar? Right here. Identify entry and exit points with appropriate stops and buy stops, using technical tools to assist in achieving a particular objective, dealing with indecision and when to step aside, understanding how core patterns repeat in all time frames. And let me just say, in this particular, what we're looking at now is the potential for what I'll discuss then as well, is the one click going to 2 clicks. So the click that we would have made here in the E-mini, talking about it in my show, the Tiger Technicians Hour, as well as in Steve's hour at 34.50, so far the 10-minute chart has been holding well, and if it goes above 77.25, it starts a leg C, and that says, wow, you might be able to hold this for 2 clicks, and your second click will be in the afternoon. But I'll be talking about that kind of activity. And this peak C did get moved over. Yeah, you've got your peak D. We discussed that a little while ago. It's walking the 14-period exponential moving average. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I think Steve will be back tomorrow. I hope so. And check out my opening call, my daily newsletter, and use your Tiger dollars, because we've got this webinar coming up, and you get my newsletter 1 month for free. Check it out on the front page of TFNN. See you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.